Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay just got revealed, and it sparked a polarized discussion within the community for fair reason. After the initial leaks and rumours of the game being a return to the roots of the series, the claim that it was a love letter to AC1, and a cinematic trailer that filled many with hope, we had to wait almost a year to see some actual boots on the ground gameplay. And to be perfectly honest, I am not entirely satisfied. But, and this comes with a major but, it doesn't matter if I'm entirely satisfied. The chances that I would be were extremely low, considering that this game was initially built as a Valhalla DLC, and by extension, shared the engine and the fundamental mechanics of that game. A game that I believe at times spits in the face of the core identity of Assassin's Creed as a franchise. I say all that to say this: Assassin's Creed Mirage, based on the gameplay we've seen, is a genuine step in the right direction. Not just a reskinned Valhalla that has hoods and hidden ones, not another RPG that's claiming to be the revival of social stealth and parkour, but certainly not a complete revival of the series that matches up to the classics. Simply, Mirage is a movement back in the direction of the core of the franchise. And that's a good thing. A lot of the response to this gameplay has been significantly negative, and that just doesn't make sense to me. We all, as Assassin's Creed fans, want this series to return to its original identity. We want the Assassin fantasy recaptured. We want Ubisoft to do away with the bland RPG formula of the last 3 games. So when they do all those things, when they at least try to move towards that essence, we still refuse to be happy? You can make the argument, and it would be a valid one, that Mirage's gameplay looks like it lacks the substantial depth of classic AC or of Unity. You can make the very valid argument that it reutilizes all of Valhalla's animations, and therefore it'll probably feel relatively similar to play. But you cannot argue that the world design has not taken a massive step up, that the stealth doesn't look functional, multivariate and engaging, that the Assassin fantasy will be presented as the supreme playstyle. This game is making clear and noticeable improvements, but instead of encouraging these improvements, we continue to talk about how it's not enough, and how it doesn't reach the heights of the original. But if we're being fair, it does look to recapture that essence better than any game has in almost 10 years.
The stage is yours, Basim.
You may feel that by not endlessly criticising Ubisoft and Mirage for not being good enough, I'm being too lackadaisical. I'm letting them off with a substandard product. I'm not being harsh enough. But if we don't praise improvements, if we don't praise the things we want to see, why would they keep happening? As much as it often seems as if the consumer has no say in the creation of these games, I honestly believe in the power of the voice of the community. And I believe in that because it's been shown time and time again to have an influence on the direction of these games. In 2014, after everyone hated Unity, there was a mass outcry that the Assassin's Creed formula had gotten stale, and it needed freshening up, a sentiment reiterated after Syndicate. This was the primary talking point around the series at this time, and it resulted in Ubisoft going down the RPG path, building Origins from the ground up, and entirely changing the focus of the series. A change which was massively praised at the time, not just by the mainstream gaming outlets, but by the hardcore AC community. And this praise led them to go further down that path. But then, after Valhalla's release, there was a huge surge in pro-classic AC sentiment all across the internet from the likes of JV, Lasers, Fishy, Walshy, Master Assassin, and countless others. Games like Unity and AC1 began getting far more praise than they had ever gotten to that point, including when they released, and the desire for the Assassin fantasy was laid out loud and clear. And as much as I hate to admit it, Ubisoft listened. They took what was undoubtedly going to be a mediocre RPG DLC, and instead of rushing it out, they spent 3 years fleshing it out into a fully fledged entry into the series, an entry that's focusing on the Assassin fantasy, the Assassin-Templar conflict, and the core of the franchise. Will the game still refer to the Norse Isu? Of course. Will the game have the parkour mechanics of AC1? Of course not. And I'm not arguing that anything we've seen so far has been perfect. but I don't think that ragging on the game for not being perfect is going to get us anywhere. The truth is, Ubisoft are going to continue to release AC games despite themselves. And these games will all make money regardless of which path they go down. So if the games are going to release anyway, would it not be a better plan of attack to praise the games that focus on the assassin fantasy and criticize the games that don't? Would it not be more pragmatic to praise and encourage improvement, to make it clear that although Mirage isn't perfect, that we want more of the same, that we want these mechanics and this fantasy to be refined once more? Should the series ever have strayed from its roots in the first place? No. But the fact of the matter is, it already has, and there's nothing that can be done about that now, aside making it clear that a continued return is what we want. Is it going to happen over the span of 1 or 2 games? No, probably not. But as we've been shown from past releases, it takes Ubisoft around 3 years to respond to the outcries of the community. So if Mirage gets lobbied with praise and encouragement for making improvements and going in the right direction, and Codename Red is endlessly criticised for being a lackluster RPG, I think it's more than likely that the direction of the former is the one that's going to be prioritised going forward. If Ubisoft are good at one thing, it's extracting money from this series, and if they see that this formula would be financially feasible, they're far more likely to let their dev teams, who do seem genuinely passionate about the franchise, to continue to explore truly returning the franchise to its roots. On another note, the story trailer for this game has me excited beyond oblivion. It seems as if the Creed is going to be reincorporated with religion, the ironies and hypocrisies of the Creed are going to be explored, and the ethics of the Brotherhood are going to be questioned, all within the confines of an actual hero's journey. And even if you want to be pessimistic and say that it will be surface level, it will also be the first time any of these themes have been explored since 2014. And if they're explored with any level of depth or intricacy, it will be the first time that's been done since 2007.
Swallow your questions, serve without complaint. Who is she to tell you when to strike?
Everything you do serves the hidden ones. That is a strange kind of freedom.
Although I was initially disappointed with the gameplay clips we saw of Mirage, what I've come to realise is that regardless of my feelings towards the game in comparison to its classic predecessors, condemning Mirage and what it's trying to do is not an optimal solution to try to push this series in the right direction. In fact, an AC fan condemning this game for not being close enough to AC1 is shooting themselves in the foot, because by not supporting the improvements they want to see, they're going to be left definitively with a series that'll never even make the effort to try and reach those aspirations again. Guys, this is crazy. I'm finally being positive about something. If I've ever deserved a like, it's now. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit like, and please do let me know what you think about the Mirage gameplay in the comments down below. I'm very interested to hear what you all have to say. With all that being said, I've been Joe, aka Scarab. Oh, make sure to subscribe again if I didn't say that, and I'll see you in the next one.